I am proud to stand here tonight as an All-Stars leader who has developed many partnerships and friendships with our supporters in the business community, many of whom are here tonight. These relationships have enabled me to speak openly and honestly about issues which make most people uncomfortable. Conversations about race and poverty can be very divisive and polarizing and very uncomfortable to speak about in mixed company. People of different races see the world based on their own life experiences. As uncomfortable as these conversations can be, we must begin to have open and honest conversations with each other if we are to move forward as one nation. Thank you. Last month, there was an article in the New York Times entitled "Jobs for the Young in Poor Neighborhoods." In this article, young people who commit acts of violence were described as having no stake in society. As an African-American man who grew up poor here in New York City and who currently spends a great deal of time working with young people most impacted by the violence in Chicago's poor communities, I strongly object to this. This issue is not whether young people have no stake in society, but whether our society has no stake in them. This is an issue which is very personal for me. I'm the product of a union of a poor African-American man from South Carolina and a poor African-American woman from Alabama. They met in New York City, where I was born in 1960. I will always appreciate the tremendous love I received from them. Their love helped me to survive, but could not protect me from the overwhelming, humiliating, and painful effects of living in poverty. Overwhelming to always face financial hardships, no matter how hard I worked. Humiliating to be regarded as dumb, even as I worked hard to get good grades in a ghetto school. Painful to always be seen as a violent thug, no matter how much of a law-abiding citizen I am. There's nothing unique about these experiences. It is, in fact, the story of millions of poor African-American men, young and old, across this country. These experiences have left many of us angry, frustrated, and isolated from a society which has made us feel unwelcome, unwanted, and unable to connect to the mainstream. My view of the world and my role in it began to change when I met Dr. Lenora Fulani on the streets of Harlem in 1989. Dr. Fulani, Pam Lewis, Eloise Joseph, and Gloria Strickland are a group of strong African-American women leaders who have, yep. They are a group of strong African-American women leaders who spent over 30 years inviting poor African-American men like me to join and build the All-Stars community. They are some of my best teachers, and not just with learning to run the programs, but more importantly, how to talk publicly about what it means to be a poor African-American man in this society. We have to be honest about the devastating impact our anger, our frustration, and our isolation is having on us and our communities. We see it every day with the violence in our streets and the fact that young black men are more likely to be incarcerated, unemployed, and killed at much higher rates than any group in this country. So as Dr. Fulani and other All-Stars leaders said to me 27 years ago, I say to today's young black men, we believe in you. We have a stake in you. We need you to grow and develop, not only for yourselves, but for our communities and, yes, for our society. We will not move forward without you, and we refuse to leave you behind. Thank you.